Hey there, AD Robles here, doing a little bit of a rebranding today. Thinking about changing my channel colors to nice, what is this, lime green? Lime green, yeah. These are actually official Gospel Coalition sunglasses, and I'm thinking about using their colors. I think they're onto something with that soft, very nice looking, very visually appealing green. And I'm thinking about changing my tone too. I'm going to make it more smooth like butter, hopefully. Maybe this will help me grow, I don't know. So anyway, I wanted to just give you a very serious announcement today. There's been a lot of talk about justice in the church and laws and political engagement and things like that. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of food for thought. A lot of people are looking for that third way. It's not liberal, not conservative, but a third way to be engaged in politics. And this is something I've thought of for a while. I've never quite said it in as smooth a way as I'm about to say it today. But what really matters when we're considering a law, it's not what the law, when you carry it out, it's not about, if there's a disparate impact, like if you have a law against, I don't know, stealing, for example. Like, just because that there's more of a certain demographic that gets caught stealing doesn't mean that it's an unjust law. You don't look at the effects of the law or the arrest rates of the law to determine whether or not it's just. What you do is you look at the law itself and you say, hey, does this comport with the law of God? Does God set out the responsibility for the government to do this? And is it good according to the law of God? For example, if you outlawed murder, which most places do, the reality is that the majority of murderers are male, because males are more aggressive naturally. That's if you don't count abortion, of course, because then there's probably a lot more women. But anyway, the majority of people arrested for murder are male. Does that mean that there's some kind of problem with that law? There's a disparate impact? I don't think so, because that's not what you look at to determine whether or not it's a good law. What you look at is, does it comport with the law of God? That's what you do. You look at the case laws in the Old Testament and you say, does our enforcement of this law match what the case laws say in the Old Testament? The general equity, that's what we're talking about when we talk about the general equity of the law. And so just because if you have a law against murder and most people that get convicted of murder are black or Latino, that doesn't mean it's an unjust law. It just means that potentially there's more black or Latino murderers in that specific jurisdiction. And so we don't look at who it affects to determine whether or not it's good. We look at God's law to determine whether or not it's good. That's how we determine whether or not a law is just or not. It's a real simple idea, but we got to get it through our skull, because so often we talk about the impact of that law and who it affects more to decide whether or not it's just, and that's not how you do it. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. God bless. One more thing, you might have a situation where you've got a just law, for example, the law against murder, for example, and it's not carried out in a fair way. It's not carried out equally. In other words, some people are allowed to get away with murder because they belong to a certain demographic group, if you know what I mean. And so that would be a problem. That's a partial law, and that itself is against the law of God. So you see, the law of God is good. God is smart. He has covered all his bases. Partiality is not allowed. But you gotta have more than just a disparate impact to prove it. You need two or more witnesses, and you gotta go searching for actual evidence of a unjust or partial execution of that law. The inequity itself is not enough. It's just really just not enough. It could mean all kinds of things, like we talked about before. Men are just more aggressive, so naturally they're going to be committing more murders than women. That's just how the world works. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and I hope it was smooth, and I hope it was more convincing. God bless.